Everyone, I'm Eric with Fresh Ground Roasting. This is the Mug Life. I didn't choose the Mug Life or the tagline, it chose me. Wanted to talk a little bit today about a couple of terms that are flying around in the coffee world, namely fair trade and direct trade, and kind of give you a little explanation of what those two things are. First of all, real simple, fair trade is a name that has a license associated with it and is certified by a company. Direct trade, fortunately or unfortunately, is a little bit more nebulous term that hasn't been strictly defined yet. And I said yet, that's an important thing. Fair trade is an organization. There are actually several fair trade organizations around the world. The one that we get a lot here in the United States is Fair Trade USA. When a coffee or another product is sold as fair trade, what that means is somebody from fair trade has gone to the coffee grower or the co-op or whatever. There's typically a price that needs to be paid in order for the fair trade organization to do that work. And that's a premium that's added on top of the price of coffee. So there are a lot of discussions about the value of fair trade. I'm not going to discuss that here today, but suffice it to say that fair trade is something that a roaster or an importer, and you directly as well, are paying for to get a certification that's done by an organization. Direct trade, on the other hand, is a term that's being used an awful lot in coffee today, and unfortunately it hasn't been strictly defined yet, but what most coffee people are defining direct trade is that we have a relationship with the people that are on the ground, either at the farm or in the co-op or in the community somehow, and buying coffee from those people directly. What direct trade usually doesn't mean is that we go over and buy coffee and ship it over ourselves. For most small roasters, you can have a direct trade relationship, but the actual act of getting coffee onto a container, onto a ship across the ocean through customs and all that other kind of fun stuff is such a logistical nightmare. There's still an importer bringing value to that equation. We're not cutting them out of the equation, but what we are doing is working directly with those farmers or with that co-op or with an organization on the ground in that coffee growing region. There is not a certification process as of yet that we have to do for direct trade. That's one of the problems with that term, is that it hasn't been clearly defined yet. But there are movements moving that way. Hopefully that'll happen soon. But those are the differences between fair trade and direct trade. Love to hear your thoughts below. If you want to give us some comments on what you like to buy. Do you think that fair trade is important? Are you more interested in direct trade? What's your thoughts when you're actually buying products, whether it's coffee or chocolate or whatever the case may be? Leave those down below. I'd love to have part of that discussion. I'm Eric. Let's keep serving coffee people love.